Oh, 90s also. You know what the 90s were great for? High school movies.
Like, no, it wasn't the 80s. It was like
80s
Pretty
too.
in Pink
Yeah,
and
I guess
Breakfast
they
Club.
don't make them like they used to. Yeah.
There was what was your favorite? What's your favorite teen movies from the 90s?
Can't Hardly Wait.
Oh, that's a good one.
Dazed and Confused.
It's a good one.
Half-Baked.
But that's yeah, okay. All right. Those are good. Half-Baked was a great one. Fuck.
So good.
Dave Chappelle before he was
4 years
pretentious.
just for weed? I mean, so good. Yeah, so good.
And then the Farrelly brothers, we talked about it before, Dumb
Yes.
and Dumber and Kingpin and Shallow Hal. Was Shallow Hal an aughts or not?
That's an aughts. And also Hot Chicks in the mid-90s had that like weird bohemian like hippie phase.
Who was your 90s it girl?
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
That's a good one.
You can't top that. You can't.
Yeah,
You can't top
that's
that.
a good one.
Yeah. The girl next door to the Nines, right? Like that's the.
She was, yeah.
That's the John Jones of the girl next door, right?
Yeah. I've always had a thing for Salma Hayek, but she's like still.
You and Spice, you love Spice in your life. You like
Bro, I like
fiery women. And
I like them. I like, as I say, I like them. I like the muchacha malas, my friend. I like them.
You're not going to give us a weird TNA breakdown like I heard you do on your live chat.
Dude, they asked me a question. What am I fucking supposed to say?
Dude, you're supposed to act like a man and answer it with one sentence or whatever.
No.
Like,
You
let
don't
me give
understand.
You a 40-minute breakdown on the difference between TNA and why I like.
You don't understand. I knew if I answered that question in the way which you had said, locker room style, I was going to get torn up for it. And even the careful way in which I answered for it, I got hate mail from very sensitive.
It was a little too careful.
From very sensitive men.
It was like, let me get out a slide rule and break this down.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was a terrible answer. But the point being was I knew I was going to get in trouble for it. And sure enough, I did. I had people hitting me up about it, being like, this is really a terrible thing.
I can't believe people pay to ask you questions. I can.
No, those are free. Those are free.
All right.
Those are
I
free.
text you all the time. You never get back to me.
You fucking liar. I constantly text you and you ignore them.
You're trying to get me to watch your content all the time.
Just a one fight story. Come on.
Oh, I still have to watch that.
Speaking of your content, we're now going to watch. Boys. All right. Oh, Jesus, really? We're going to do this? All right. This comes from Phil. He asks, tit man or ass man? The donk delegation wants to know. Well, how do I describe this question? As sort of crude as it may be, it's the second ranked question, so I suppose I have to answer it, huh? Typically try to avoid this kind of stuff for fear of having any kind of pushback. All right, well, I'll say this. However I'm about to answer this question, this is merely, these are merely my preferences. I do not say to the world that my preferences should be accepted by others. This is merely personal view of things, okay? The answer has changed over time. I think through my teenage years, I was probably more the former than the latter. It has changed a little bit as I've aged, but I'll say this, and this is probably a gross generalization, which I'm admitting up front, but in general, my experience has been, if you find I'll say this. These are my preferences, right? I have found that in Latin America, you don't really have to choose. I'll kind of just say that. In Latin America, again, I don't want to overgeneralize. They come in all shapes and sizes there too. For me, this is my personal preference. I've dated all kinds. I've dated Nigerian women, Taiwanese, Southern belles. I mean, you name it. I've sort of run the gamut, right? But I have found that the ones that appeal the most to me in general have been Latin American women. And I have found that typically this question, while it can apply, you tend to get both. So you don't really have to make, it's like you don't really have to choose. You really sort of they both come with the package. That is a gross overgeneralization, probably deeply unfair, but for me, my weakness has been Latin women. It's why I married one, right? Seems relatively obvious. And I have found that in Latin America, for me, this question is a lot less relevant because they tend to be the total package much more so than any other place I've ever been. I realize that I'm probably saying things that are unfair that might get me in trouble. I hope not. I'm just trying to tell you what my preferences are. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life or what to like and what not to like. All women are beautiful, yeah? But for me, the ones that appeal the most have been the apex predator for me are Latin women, and you know, it's sort of funny too. Like I remember, do you guys remember years ago that controversy where they had that sideline reporter? I forget where she was from. I think she was Mexican, and I think her name was Inez Sands. Do you guys remember this? She was there for like Super Bowl coverage, and she was, I think, she was doing some locker room coverage as well. And people are like, "Oh, she's dressed provocatively," and I'm looking at her and I'm like, if you go again, this is a probably a little bit of an unfair generalization, but I think there's a hint of truth to this too, which is if you go anywhere in Latin America, the way she was dressed, there wasn't a thing controversial about it, dude. Nothing. That was, you see that kind of thing, let's say form-fitting clothing as part of it, to an extent, perhaps a little bit more revealing. That kind of thing is way more common down there, way more, and there's no social taboo about it, and the sort of policing of women's bodies in the same way that there is down there. Not in that kind of way, anyway. And it works for me. It works for me. So that's probably why I married one, right? So, Latino, I want to be clear about this, and Latino it's not a race, but you tend to get a little bit more of a, you get a wide range. You can get them all the way Afro, either Colombian, Afro-Ecuadorian, Afro-Brazilian, all the way to people that look as wide as they are from Spain. I tend to like a nice little mix in the middle, and but that's just me, right? So I'll say the answer is both, because my travels through Latin America have showed me in those places you tend to not have to make a choice. You just get everything you want, right? That's just me. Please don't cancel me or get me fired. Just telling you how I feel. Okay, true or false? Dana White will retire from the UFC after his current